You can fire away on that.
Yeah. So first one being on time. Like, so, and for me, that's like so common sense. I don't think I've been late for anything in my life, and if I was probably still early.
Yeah.
What is the hell are you late when you're early? For me, it would be late. But if I was ever late for anything, and I can't remember if I've ever been late for something, I really don't. I think I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been late for anything. I get up and I go, and so the point is that number one, it's for me. I need to be early so that I can be prepared, and I'm not leaving anybody ready. And there's wiggle room if in case something happens, and shit happens.
Yep.
So that's that. And as from a hockey perspective, it's like, okay, let's look at it from a couple different perspectives. If I show up, if my coach I can't believe you'd have to say, okay, if the coach says whatever, it's 9:00 and he's there at 9:00. I don't know why in the world you'd think 9:00 is a good time to be there. It makes that makes zero sense to me, because if he says 9:00 and I'm walking in at 1 minute to 9:00 or 9:01, I would expect the furry eyeball staring at me.
Yep.
You know, that means I might even be there at 8:30. Like, seriously.
Yep.
So I'm ready. So that coach, when I walk into the room, because I'm aware of what my coach might think of me, every time it's 9:00, you're always here early. Okay, this is good. It's never bad.
Right.
Unless you're skipping school to do it or you're giving up responsibility, it's never a bad thing to be early. Number two, you're showing respect for his time. Number 3, 4, whatever, you're respecting your teammates.
Yep.
And or the people that you need to, whoever you're dealing with.
Right.
So being on time is important. Being on time also, if you're smart, leaves you the ability to get a little bit prepared while you're there. Right. So not only be early, be ready.
Yep. I mean, I just add a couple things on that. So I talked. It's funny we bringing this one up, because I got in a discussion with my brother about it, because my brother's a plus or minus guy when he has a time to be somewhere.
Yep.
So it was a genuine discussion, just like, if you're a couple minutes late, like, what does it matter? Like, if I say 6:00 and I walk in at 6:03, does it actually matter that much? And for me, it's yes. And
for me, it's yeah.
Aside from what you're saying, and there's exceptions to the rule, obviously. Like, if your buddy says, hey, come over at 7:00 and you show up and it's a little bit after 7, it's actually not appropriate to be early, because they might have something until 7, right? You don't want to show up.
Yeah.
So there's some exceptions to the rule. But anyways, adding on to what you're saying, aside from the respect thing and the ability to be prepared, which is obviously very important, there's two other things with when you're late. What I said to my brother is, would you be late to a job interview? Right. And obviously anyone with a brain says no, of course not, right? And
with a brain.
Okay, but the question then is why? Why would you not be late for that?
Bingo.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about it in those terms, aside from what you said, which is obviously true, you want to be there and be able to get prepared, and you're respecting other people's time and all that stuff. The other two things is, if you've ever been late for something, and everyone has at some point where you feel like you're rushing.
Yeah.
Think about the mentality that puts you in. Everyone's been in their car driving when they feel like they're going to be late.
Yeah.
And you're zipping in and out of cars. You're ready to yell at anyone that cuts you off, or if there's a train, it's just causes a bad attitude.
Yeah.
So now you're going into your task with a bad attitude.
Yeah, very good.
Whether you want to or not. Yeah. So that's another bonus thing for me. And then the second thing is, you'll start to forget stuff if you're in a rush because you're late.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I notice all the time.
We did it the other day, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about, but not you. You didn't do anything wrong. We're just saying remember you had to go back to Guelph yesterday.
So if you're rushing, that's where you start to make bad. You either forget things or you make bad decisions because you're in a rush, because you don't have time to think things through, right? Yeah. So those are two little adds I'll throw onto that, and that's why it's so big. Whether the respect thing, the time thing, being prepared, all that is obviously huge. But secondary is those things. Like, you want to show up to your event with a bad attitude because you're rushing. Yeah. It's just an imposed bad attitude, or it's stressful. So you get anxiety about it because you can feel that you're late and you feel like you're in a rush, right? Which is